I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome to Monday morning reading. Everybody get a chance to look at the minutes? Any additions or corrections?
Motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a first and a
Second.
second. All in favor? Aye.
All right.
Motion carries. Everybody get a chance to look at the meeting minutes?
Yeah, that's what I just approved.
No, you just approved the agenda.
No. it was-
You said minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go back and approve the agenda.
So moved.
First and a second.
It,
One thing.
before I vote, if we're gonna do that, we need to have it on the agenda.
No, don't,
That's something you guys just started a couple weeks ago, so you tell me how you want it done. I don't care. I
That's why I
just need
said
to
if
know.
we're gonna do it, we need to have it on there.
all right, let's just
Yes,
put it
ma'am.
on the agenda. Everybody else always approves minutes. This way, if we have any additions or corrections, I'm not minutes, but of the agenda. All right. Approve employee claims. Oh. Do you want to vote on the agenda now?
Yeah, yes, I'm
Okay.
fine. As long as we got that straight, how we're gonna handle it in the future.
Okay. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Approve employee claims filed with the county auditor in the amount of $152.29.
So moved.
Second?
In a second, all in favor?
All right.
Aye. Motion carries. Approve quarterly reports from the auditor's office in the amount of $68,973.13.
Motion to approve?
Second.
And a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approve monthly employee health insurance report.
Looking good. I make a motion to approve that.
Everybody get a
Second.
chance to look at it? A first and second, all in favor?
All right.
Aye. Motion carries. Approve fund transfer to secondary roads, and I seen that came through in an email.
Yeah, that's half of his appropriation
Okay.
is what it is.
What's that amount?
Let me look, the resolution.
1,073,162.65.
65.
What is it?
1,073,162.65.
Okay,
I got a first,
second?
second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Items for discussion, a set public hearing for Finhold MBH preliminary plats.
Yeah, the resolution's in there. October 28th at 9:15.
9:15.
Okay, make a motion to set the public hearing for the Finhold plat, to October 28th, 9:15 a.m.
All right,
Second.
I got a first, I got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Meet with Sheriff Budzinski regarding body cameras and squad cameras.
He said he would be up. We can move to Brian. I'll shoot him a message.
Okay,
The only thing I know about that is I sent the agenda. And then 20 minutes later, Jason called me and wanted this put on the agenda. That's why everyone received an amended agenda.
Yeah, Scott's walking in right now, so it's your call.
That's their call.
It shouldn't take that long for
Brian.
Brian.
Yeah.
Okay. Full set of plans here for the W35 paving. And so what I would need is approval and signature, and then this evening we'll get the Sunday of Plus Clayton signature.
Have we got this all straightened out?
That's to be discussed too, if you're following the emails.
Probably maybe we ought to discuss that. before we
Okay.
sign that.
The 2080 we put together says W35 at the very top.
But what does it say in the body?
Look under the scope of services.
Is that the same one that, because there was two different ones floating around, so I just want to make sure that we all have the same one.
I have using fabric brake binder and W40 Kowalski to W22 east of Independence.
From W40 in Kowalski to D22. And D22, it shouldn't be in Independence. It's not.
That, it says east, B22 east of Independence is what the 28.
To do 22, D22 east of Independence is where we stop. So that's defining this, where we start, where we stop. And under the scope of services, it says W35.
Why does it refer to W40?
I assumed that was, on the back page is where, and
It's on this.
that's a Secretary of State seal. I assume somebody just typed in.
No,
Hush.
okay, so I already explained to you how this went. Right here's where it says W40, John.
Right.
Okay, so that's how it got recorded. I am the one that records these.
Okay.
Alex, the other day, asked me for a copy of this. I sent it to him. He told me that there's no work being done on W40. It shouldn't say W40. You guys need to tell me how it needs to be, so it's recorded correctly.
I
I
think I
spoke to the
understand.
secretary, or I spoke with the city
Read the
clerk.
scope of services too.
I think I understand it now.
Chris,
Where
you wanna-
W40 intersects with W35.
Do you want to finish, Chris?
The city clerk in Quasqueton was confused because it said W40 also. So I said, I will get some clarification on what's going on.
Yeah, it's not, it's about as clear as mud.
After I keep reading it, it makes all kinds of sense because it's where the intersection with W40 and 35 are.
Yeah.
North of Quad, going north on
To
W35 up to D22. If try and read it in that vein, it makes
But I
sense.
mean, if you don't understand, if you're not knowing about the project, you're not knowing how the scope of the project is going, this piece of paper wouldn't tell you anything.
Well, read the scope of services. It says on the improvements on W35.
We just- Maybe it should have said, using fabric bond breaker on for improvements on W35 from W40, because that makes it read better. That's why, because people are gonna look at this, Brian, they're not gonna look down here. They're gonna look at this line right here. And I mean, I understand why city clerks are getting it mixed up because.
Well, I was confused and, I was going off what Alex told me. So I don't know. You guys decide how you want it. I will make the needed adjustments if there needs to be adjustments.
You guys want him to,
I think I understand it. I don't see any need to, but I don't know who's gonna read that and not understand it. I mean,
Me.
how many other people are gonna read it? Now that we've explained it to you.
The only issue is if there was confusion or issues, it's controversy in the future would be the only catch.
you've already seen it, Clayton.
I think this is the same one I just brought up.
Yeah, I mean, if there's controversy in the future, then
But
it's gonna be
yes,
specific enough.
I would think it would because it says the improvements on W35, everybody's approving the plans. Really ties back to what the plans are.
I guess I'm all right, because it basically, it says from W40, Quasqueton, north to D20.
Right, it doesn't tell you the road you're doing until you look further on down.
And then
I mean, we could have
regardless-
actually specified that better in that one paragraph.
In that one,
It would have been clarified.
At the very top says 28E for W35.
But I think in a legal term, I mean, this spells it out. I can't see if anything would ever come up that.
And here's the set of plans too. And this does include the bridge in there also.
Is this here? Is that the one?
That, I printed that out. I just printed it.
A big enough printer to
Print
send this
that.
in and like scan it in as a PDF and send it out to us, because looking at a print on a Monday morning and then asking me to approve it, like you're asking me to understand this and to have been familiar with it enough so I can say that, yeah, I looked at it.
I think Alex has the ability to convert it to a PDF and send it
We do that.
because it's done in AutoCAD, and I'll ask Alex to do that. I don't have a copy version, electronic version myself yet. Alex prints it out and it all gets sent in electronically to the state.
Now, the shoulders for this project, that's separate funding?
That, we have $500,000 in safety funds to pave the shoulders. Now, the reality, it's gonna be $800,000 to pave all those shoulders. But then you start subtracting what you save in rock, but it isn't just the safety side of it, Clayton, it's the long-term reduced maintenance too.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and so-
I get all that, what
Yeah.
the purpose of
And-
this thing is for it. I just want to make sure how the funding all channels in, so that's all taken care of.
Sure, this total project, Alex, came up with $6,380,000. And so it's pushing our monies pretty hard again.
So, and we're doing 6-inch.
6-inch overlays, even though Halil Jalan's saying with the heavier trucks, we should put no surfaces down less than 8-inch. If I started trying to go 8-inch on everything,
When you've got a good base under it, so it should.
That's it. You got.
yeah, there's a lot of learning going on there. And these are some of the discussions that have been going on because we're seeing better performance with that fabric bond breaker and concrete over concrete than concrete over asphalt without the bond breaker. And I remember some of the discussions with Gary Gissel saying, maybe we should be using the fabric bond breaker on even when we're going over asphalt. Again, a couple more dollars per square yard.
Now, were we gonna start like maybe trying to add some, like, go up to the 8-inch on the very ends to keep that?
We do,
those shoulders
and that's
separate?
called for in the 2080 also.
Oh, I see, right here, 9-inch peak
Yeah.
shoulder for that 4% right there. Got it.
Is the radius is gonna be staying the same on the intersections?
We're pouring back that 50-foot on the intersections. And the reason we do that is because we've had a couple accidents over the years. One of them was in Palo Alto County I had where a car pulled up behind the motor grader. He could not see him. It was a little car. He backed up and the motor grader just about made it to the windshield.
Oh, my.
There was two guys in that car with great big eyes.
Well, we see what I'm asking on some of these intersections, especially going off of D-22, and we see it on Dugan, we see it down there in Buffalo, we see it on all these intersections. Where the truck drivers all try to straighten those curves.
Oh, the radiuses are standard radius, Clayton, but if we make them bigger, the trucks just driving faster and they still get off of them. And the prime example of that is the Dugan.
Right.
I just had that accident this weekend over on Nathan Bethel.
Yeah.
And so there's
Thursday.
the, parts that are circled, is that where we're straightening that out? This one and then that's bridge, I'm assuming.
I'm not sure why he's got circles there, but here's the note that goes with that. Yeah.
Grading for curb realignment.
Well, the one up here would be the box.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's off of Kramer's and that I don't have signed yet either, but I've got that right in front of me too. And you signed the one for TJ, the other one's been signed.
Now, by doing this, today and stuff like that, when will this go out?
Should be in the December letting, assuming everything goes through smooth at this point.
And that's what we always try to get these done before.
Earlier,
the year.
you
Earlier
tend to
the
get-
better.
You tend to get better prices earlier.
And then these contractors are working on next year's projects.
Yes. So what I would like is a motion to approve the plans.
Can I have something, maybe even possibly a separate motion? That you guys are okay with the way the 28E is worded and filed, just
Okay,
for clarification?
We'll start out with that one.
Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion then to with the way 2080 has been made out and filed already.
Second.
The first and the second. I am gonna make a little caveat to that. In the future, can you include the road that we're working on up in the first paragraph, like W35 from such and such to such and such? I think it just makes it read easier, and I think that people will understand it better.
Appreciate it. We tend to pattern them one after the next, so yes, we get this done, we'll.
Right, I got a first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And I make the motion that we go ahead and accept the plan and move forward, we give the bidding and have the, I guess the board, all the board members have.
All three board members have signature blocks for
I'll second that.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
it. And Dawn, this was our priorly approved. We came in, discussed the purchasing the right of ways.
Okay. And that just needs signature.
That just needs
No,
your
sorry.
signature.
I'm just getting on my signature, all kind of.
Wait until after the election now.
All right, so this
That was for me, that's notary for me to sign.
is that back to you.
Thank you.
And keep this one back to you. Actually, going to John. And. Remember to put your vacation on the calendar, please.
Will do, will do.
Here you go, Brian.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, do you have anything else?
That was everything I had, then other than one question is that, and that is, do you want me to stick around for the public hearings portion again? It tend to be regarding the roads as often thing.
I mean, if you want to stick around, it's fine.
And then the other question is, does anybody want to ride up with me to look at Benson and Carter?
No, because I found a note. Actually, what it is.
No.
But it's still an offer to you,
What
and
time were you planning on going up?
at your convenience.
I've got another meeting at 11, so.
We could run right up after here and then come back and.
Well,
we're
we got a meeting with our broker at 10 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this morning.
I think I got a 1 o'clock meeting getting set up to discuss the scholarship candidates. And John, otherwise I'd make it after that.
It's all right.
Take a picture.
I may drive up there on my,
But I think you nailed it though. You kind of know what it looks like already.
It looks like some of the other county roads.
Yeah.
With washboards in.
Well, some people think if they complain enough, we'll just pave the road and they won't have to listen to us, but it's not a real viable option.
Well, I got an intersection near me down there. I turned one off the other day and I'll tell you what, it was like I was driving through flour.
Oh.
Yeah.
I do have
So,
two things for the RFA.
Yeah.
Did you look, I never been back out there after that spillage of the, fertilizer. Did that look pretty well cleaned up to your specifications?
I haven't seen it, so.
I haven't.
No, when I went by it, you wouldn't even known it spilled.
Okay, good. Just want to make, it's great with the dry stuff when it's no water or anything running through there, but I just want to make sure.
Yeah, and I've been trying to get the accident report, but I was told by your office that it goes to the highway patrol.
Yeah, the state patrol ended up, UFD officer came in.
Filed that.
It's fine. So, and I don't know, I've got a couple complaints this week. 130th and Fairbank Amish, the gravel.
with all the washboard.
Let's go back a week ago. We bladed 140th on Friday and parts of 150th. And that was Brian Gissel came in and bladed that because Chad was on vacation. Monday when I drove it, the washboards were back. And so going back to 130th, particularly over to the store, we tried, first stretch we did about 1,000 foot of Claycrete, and that holds better. Then we put in some slag, and that slag is just horrendous. It has no PI. One of the things that we've been talking about doing is bringing in some clay from Patterson's
That's, has, you answered Scott's question. Scott, did you get questions answered?
Okay, you're trying to come up with solutions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I called Brian about 1:30 last week. Cause it is horrible
Yeah. Yeah,
and it gets a lot of traffic.
there's,
Most mine are coming from the semi guys.
All right, let's
Yeah.
go on. The meet with
Back to
Sheriff
Jesse.
regarding body cameras and squad cameras.
I don't know if, did Jason ever send you guys out? I have some of the quotes and stuff.
I haven't seen it.
All right, I got copies of it. I didn't have time this morning to make any other copies.
I can do copies for you quick, Scott.
Yeah, well, I think this one's a duplicate. No, it's not. Right now we're running into, and these companies aren't very good to get a hold of you when things are going well and saying that they're gonna stop supporting the system that you're running. Here about, 2 months ago, our in-car cameras for our squad cars, one of the DVR systems stopped working. There were a couple options for me to send it in to get it fixed. But to send it in and to do a, I guess analysis or see what's wrong with it was about $800 to just take a look at it
For one camera.
for one DVR system. It's kind of like the brains back of the car for that. All the two cameras go to and the recordings and stuff. So anyway, then I asked how much it would to purchase one, and they said, well, they're not supporting that system anymore. And so any future needs or request, they're just kind of taking care of, whoever they can with the product they have left. So I was able to talk to them, and the DVR system was, for a new one, was 11 something, almost $1,200 for the DVR system, instead of sending this down there and for $800 and then fixing it, or they're telling me that it can't be fixed. I decided to purchase one of the DVR systems.
The
And-
DVR, I got a question about that. You said both cameras, so the body camera
No,
doesn't.
there's two cameras in the car, in squads.
Okay, it
There's
doesn't
the
have
front
anything to do with
facing.
body.
No.
Good.
Our system right now, we have two different companies that we use for body cam and for, our in-car cameras. And our in-car cameras, our squad cameras, they have a rear camera facing possible inmates or whatever in the back seat, plus a forward facing one. With that being said, I struggled with them giving me or selling me a DVR system because they wanted to keep it for, customers, whatever, but we were able to get that one. So, make a long story short here, they're not supporting, we can't, it's getting to the part where we can't even get cameras for our in-car cameras anymore through the same company, which is the ICOP system. For our body cams, found this out when we had another one break. We are purchasing used ones now to replace the existing ones. That company is no longer making those body cams anymore. So we're in a predicament where when one breaks, and we did order two used ones. One was pretty decent, the other one is not much better than the one we're trying to replace. And that's just what you kind of get when you're,
So are they doing, going to newer technology or?
well, these are, you know, you have about 3 companies right now that really do kind of all in one body cam and in-car cameras right now. That's Axon, G-Tech and Motorola. Checked with Axon, their prices were quite a bit higher than G-Tech. I've reached out to Motorola. I haven't heard anything back from them. To try to get another quote from them for a body cam in-car camera system.
Now Motorola, I don't know if it's existing now. I know even years ago, Motorola had a contract with the state. And I don't know what the state's doing because you got the highway patrolmen, you got the way guys, you got DNR and stuff. That's all got these cameras. So I don't know.
They don't have body cameras,
So I don't.
but I think they're in the process. Maybe Bruce can.
Maybe they don't.
Are they in the process of getting body cameras, the state?
We do have, yes, the state patrol is, DNR, we do have body cameras. However, it's an adaptive program through Visual Labs. And it operates primarily off of a cell phone. So it's a cloud-based system, works really well for us. I just actually for Fairbank touched base with Visual Labs. They do have technology that can go in cars. I would be just a little bit hesitant. I would want to try it out before I actually put it in like a deputy's car type of a setting. For us in the DNR, it works really well because we all have, 90 different home offices. So we can't have the infrastructure that a police department or a sheriff's office can have. So it works really well for us from a body cam standpoint. However, we don't have in our patrol vehicles, we don't have dash cameras and stuff that these other patrol cars have. So with Fairbank, I reached out to G-Tech. That's actually what we did. We ran into the same problem. I think it was a 6-year-old system. DVR went belly up and G-Tech basically said, yeah, we don't support that anymore. It's met its shelf life. And I think it was $6,700 or $61. I'd have to look back, but like $6,100 to replace that system for Fairbank. So. But yes, the state patrol is they're exploring right now some body cam systems. I don't know. I don't think that they've actually settled on one testing process.
I don't want our people out there with their body cams.
Well, I think you've got rules falling out there because of liability and if anything happens, and I'm sure there's something in place, laws that say you have to be recorded, isn't there?
Well, there's not laws, there's just, like you said, liability and just the evidence-based factor that we deal with and, in the situations that we deal with, it's just, it's a must.
Well, one winning lawsuit against the county for anything that would be way more than we're looking up for total events here.
All right. But to go back,
That's kind of a racket.
it is a lot of your costs that occur in the ongoing of this, obviously to refit, 15 squad cars, obviously there's a for the equipment stuff, the initial cost is, pretty expensive. Then if we bought this, or if we went with this, and paid for everything for the 5-year, support,
You're saving some money.
it would save us well over almost $17,000 if we paid it all up front.
And that includes a 5-year warranty support.
Yes. With body cams and in-car system.
And these quotes do include the labor of installing them and.
No,
So that's
it
over
does
above
not.
this.
Right,
And Carl would have to do that also.
yes. Yes,
Do we know how much that is?
no, I don't right now. That's in the works right now too.
It'll be expensive.
No, my guess is probably not. It's probably just
They're gonna charge you for a technician that is
Well, and
certified and everything. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have to have a certified technician to install it anyway, otherwise you void a warranty.
you know,
Yeah, but it's gonna be expensive.
yeah, everything's expensive, it seems like, but, like I said, I haven't got anything back from Motorola yet. These are kind of like your three major players, that kind of do dual things to go through. I'm leaning towards G-Tech for the simple fact of I've heard good things from these newer systems and from other departments that are using it right now. And plus, we just purchased new laptops to be compatible with Windows 10 this last year, and they have been implemented to all the deputies. And this system is also a G-Tech system that would work in coordination with our laptops, our in-car cameras and stuff like that right now. So I'm,
Well, I guess
and
if Motorola wants your business, they would have gave you a quote by now.
well, we've been kind of pushing this. Everything takes a little time. Obviously with finding out within the last 2 months that both of our systems are basically obsolete and are not being supported anymore, it's really changed my direction. This was actually going to be for next year's budgeting cycle, but it's kind of pushing my hand a little bit right now.
Right.
Think there's any opportunities for any grant funding on these?
I know Clayton and I have talked. I know I got Corey looking into it right now, which we're in a cycle where a lot of the grants have just been approved and you start the process again. There's a possibility, but that's getting approved of it, saying that, yeah, you got the grant money. And when you get that money is
You could be
in the
once,
future. Oh, yeah.
once you apply for it, get it approved, and once you get it, you could be months.
Yeah, I can't just say, yeah,
Right. And you're
there's possibilities, and what you can get or will get is two different things. That's my problem.
What do we have
No,
left
no.
in ARPA funds, Chris? Because I mean, I'm pretty relatively sure your budget can absorb $172,000 hit.
$281,788.92.
So basically, that almost 17,000, you might just say that's interest charge.
Yes, exactly what it is. Basically, they're charging you interest for
Carrying you.
carrying it. Yeah,
The thing about it is, how soon I mean, you wouldn't, I guess, know the answer to this question, but I would hate to see Motorola come in, say, at 150 or something, and then we want to move ahead and reprove that, and I think if there's,
And then it's not compatible.
if we can, well, we don't know all this yet, and he deals with them and talks to them and finds out all this. I just, if there's several $1,000s left, and if it would do what you need it to do, I hate to.
If it would connect right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big if, because I don't want somebody out there unseen and everything's bad, and then all of a sudden you find out your body camera didn't record because it's not good.
and
Could we give this another week or something to see if Motorola would come in with something?
yeah, I'll reach out. It's definitely gonna be 2 weeks because I know just getting the quotes. And like I said, I had Axon come in earlier and they just scared the heck out of me. With their quotes as far as, and they're buying out a lot. So I didn't reach back out to them again, but, G-Tech's been really good, very connective. And with Carl's, and they do our upfitting right now for our squad cars. What I'll do, I'll reach out again to G-Tech and see if they can expedite something for us, because using this and going through this, I think we got all of our ducks in a row as far as the equipment and stuff that we need.
Wasn't there some history with Motorola over there having some real problems supplying people, and then their technology was
Spotty.
very spotty?
Yeah.
'Cause I know the military used to use Motorola all the time, and I think they've gone completely away from it.
And I'm sure you can find stories with every, especially technology anymore. I mean, me personally, with our computers, I definitely, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm definitely looking closer, and I've been to several schools where G-Tech's been down there, demonstrating some of their, newer equipment and all these to get the cloud storage is expensive, but it's what it's going to do. One thing I do like about the cloud storage, outside of retaining it on our own servers, and I wish kind of Jason was here to kind of explain that. There's a massive amount of data that's collected. A lot of our body cam stuff, if it's not a policy to expunge, to erase that information every 13. In theory, I'd like to be able to keep that longer with the cloud base. We can keep it forever, even if we go to a different, 10 years down the road or something, we go with a different cloud base or something, that information is transferable, according to them. But, we just don't lose the information, even if we don't think it's important right now. As you know, within 2 years, things can change
Right.
dramatically.
Is there a possibility, like, say, a company like Motorola, would they be able to do the install?
I would have to find somebody else to do the install, because Carl's is a certified installer for, G-Tech. I would probably have to use either like a Raycom or wherever. I don't know if they have a specific installer, for those systems. That's an unknown question.
What we got on cost here, the install cost? If you feel that's something you could absorb in your budget that you have now?
I think I'd be pretty close. I was gonna reach out to Heather today, as far as, like, I got 2 squads right now that are waiting to be upfitted.
Be nice to get
So,
a start.
yeah, just to kind of get a dollar amount per squad.
Well, the way I look at it out there, we got we do have some ARPA funds left, and just sitting there, it's not been designated for anything or anything. I think this is a very important project, to cover our hindsights and liability and everything, what could happen out there. We want our deputies out there and everybody's out there protected, so I would be all in for looking at using ARPA for this. And also probably not getting into the 5-year thing, because if we got money there, I don't like spending the close to $17,000 out in interest charges.
I agree. I mean, well, and you figure that would you almost get 6 years of cloud storage with saving that 16,000.
Yeah.
So I guess what we'll probably need will be,
How about if we could like table it for at least, I need probably at least 2 weeks to be really,
okay.
I'd be like, take no action on it today.
There's no action and asked to put it back on the agenda 2 weeks, or just wait, is 2 weeks enough, or do you want to let us know?
I know a week's not enough. How about I'll just let you know. when
Okay.
Yeah, because I
See
think
what-
it,
Just place it back on the agenda when more information is available.
If I can get
Yeah.
that
Okay.
third, if Time to get that third quote.
Right, the one, we have to have those ARPA funds promised by the end of the year though, don't we?
Don't think it's the end of twenty
You have
twenty-four.
to have them designated for how you're gonna spend them, they run out. in
I would have to
2026.
look. I don't,
25 and
that's kind of what I was thinking, but I don't know without looking.
I
All
think
right,
we're
so
December.
we're still,
25.
we got time then. Yes. Bob?
Have we checked into other counties that might need this and create a group buy? Is that an option, or are these companies too big for that?
No, I have not.
I mean, do they do that with this?
I've never heard of it.
I know a lot of times we always had the group buys, if you had a neighboring school district that was gonna purchase something large like this and technology, sometimes you combine together and the company's gonna make money, so.
I think something like that's a good idea, but I think that would have been something we had to be working on, working on a deadline here to make sure we're protected. And they pull that all together now. I think we're past that time to be able to pull that together.
It's an urgent issue.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't hurt. I know the surrounding sheriffs. I don't know if I'd be comfortable, reaching out to like Polk County or something like that, but, I know the surrounding sheriffs very well. I'll see where they're at and if that's even an option.
it's kind of, I mean, a lot of them might be experiencing the same thing that you're going through right now with outdated equipment.
Yeah.
They're gonna be in a rock and hard place soon.
Or it's up to
Thought,
that's, doesn't hurt a phone call.
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Talking more.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Public comment?
Brian,
No, Brian's not until 10.
Brian's right here.
I understand, but it says 10 o'clock on our agenda, so if somebody wanted to come in and see Brian and they came in at 10, then.
Okay, that's fine. We've never really done it that way, but that's okay if that's the way you want to do it.
I hate to sit here and wait this long, but, it's just like Don said, if we'd have anybody that wanted to listen to presentation.
Yeah, no, I am.
Come in here, 2 minutes till and find out they missed most of the presentation and then might get us in trouble.
Totally get it. If I'm not 15 minutes early, I'm late, so.
I love it.
Usually you're not this early.
Yeah, well, it's kind of, I never know exactly when I'm on the schedule, but I figured it was 9:45 to 10, so I wanted to be here a little bit early.
Yeah,
No, it's
I hate to
fine.
sit here and twiddle my thumbs. It just kind of reminds me of the military days when I was in the military. Hurry up and.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a beautiful morning to drive up here, so.
Thank you. Good luck out there.
Yeah, appreciate it. Take care. According to our previous.
So I graduated from the University of Iowa in Cedar Falls, and I worked in Cedar Falls for about 6 months in an HR position, and I live about 10 minutes from here, so.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so I wanted to, find something a little closer, and yeah, it's a perfect fit, so, yeah.
Awesome. Oh, you thought about retirement?
Oh, yeah, it's filling her, it's getting harder and harder.
Yeah, as you get closer.
Yeah, and with the coldness, it's like,
Yeah. You guys have any trips planned or?
no, my husband's going to continue working.
Okay.
For at least another year. My hobbies, clothing, so I'm getting more into that again.
I think you can spend a lot of time quilting, so suck up a lot of the 40-hour work week.
Yeah. And during the summer, I'm hoping to do more gardening and
Yeah. Cool.
plant flowers.
Yeah, awesome. Katie can start a garden next year.
Is she?
So, yeah, she's got it all platted out. She's starting to compost everything now and
Oh,
so she really,
not that far yet.
yeah.
I'm still confused as to what you would compost and what you wouldn't and.
She just says yes or no and that's how
Oh,
I'm starting to figure it out, but it's amazing how much you can compost.
oh, really?
Yeah, but she got a bin and she's gonna be stirring it every so many weeks. Yeah,
You can do anything almost, like any type of food scraps.
pretty much any food scrap, cardboard, if it doesn't have like a dye that's embedded into the cardboard. Yeah, it's crazy.
What about newspapers? Oh, they would have a dye.
They'd have a dye, eggs, so the egg shell,
Uh-huh.
you just crack it all up and they'll decompose.
I thought any human food should not be composted.
They can, yeah,
It can.
yeah.
Yeah.
Human hair, you can imagine that.
Oh, my husband shaves his hair off.
You can compost human hair. So Katie has a lot of hair come out. She's in the shower and she's putting it into the compost bin.
Wow.
Yeah. I've learned a lot too in the last month that she's gotten into this.
My wife's a hairdresser and she used to compost
Really?
all the hair, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, big compost bin out behind her house.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
hasn't done it for a while.
So my wife is getting into that now and I'm learning. Yeah.
So I guess if I need any instructions, I can.
You can get a hold of her. Yeah. Yep.
I did ask for public comment, Bob.
You know me, I usually don't have anything to say.
Well, election time is around the corner. It's basically here.
It's here.
It's here.
It's been here for a while.
Yeah.
They can come in and do in-person voting now?
No.
Okay, that's
Wednesday.
Wednesday. A lot of absentee.
888
Already. Yeah.
ballots to be mailed, yeah. That's what we've got so far,
Okay.
which is really, it's down a lot since 2020, but the pandemic
Makes sense. Yeah.
boosted it. There was over 5,000 between in-person and mail-in. in
So election
2020.
day is gonna be a much bigger deal this go around.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be more in-person.
Yeah.
Folks going to the precincts.
Yeah.
Are they telling everybody to vote early? I'm like, just go to the auditor's office and vote. I mean,
However they
that's-
want.
You avoid the craziness. A lot of people like the,
Not really. I remember 4 years ago, people stood in line for 45 minutes to an hour to come in our office and vote. But out here, we had lines all the way back to the clerk of court's office. Mhm.
wow.
Especially on a Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday's huge. And we'll be open November 2nd because we're required by law to be open the Saturday before the election, so we'll be open from 8 to 5.
Oh, you will.
Mhm.
I didn't realize that.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, that, but this way, if something happens to one of the polling places and you're,
Oh,
you've already got your vote in, it's,
Don't say that. Cause then I have to find an emergency place. It must go on. It doesn't change.
I just went to the Department of Homeland Security conference. I had to go there.
Actually, it looks like Karen gave you your first official assignment that got sent out to us.
Oh, the policy.
Policy.
Yeah. It was good first
You
assignment.
have fun working on
Yeah,
that?
it was good. It was nice and simple, nothing too complex, so.
Do you want to put, what are we calling it? Custodial maintenance uniform policy on next week's agenda?
I think I got an extra book for you. I think.
Let me send you a copy of it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have,
It works.
I have 2, so I think we're good.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, you get your front row seat, Ashley. It's about 10 minutes.
I'll let you go.
Right here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Up here. You get to sit in the hot seat.
All right.
Oh, it's not too hot.
No.
Although I do remember presenting to you the first time, and it felt like the hot seat right
Yeah.
here.
I bet
It did. I remember that very, like it was not that long ago. I think it's already been 4 years ago, roughly.
It'll be 4 years like next spring.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, we got you in here the first meeting in January.
that's right. You're absolutely right.
Cause you asked me down in Des Moines, you said, why don't we come up? And I said, the first meeting in January.
Yeah, that's right.
Probably wouldn't work out well prior to that.
Yep, yep. You're 100% right, Clayton. Yeah,
how time flies.
it's crazy,
So,
isn't it?
and I think,
A lot's happened. Well, we've made a lot of
Jonathan
changes.
already does, emergency operation and.
Yeah. They've been out there already.
And
so
public health.
Just, if we're gonna do contract agreement, you know.
See if I have a card for you, Ash.
Thank
They've been
you.
in there a while, but there you
Awesome.
go.
Oh, this
Yeah,
works. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll, you'll be, have you done any type of onboarding call yet with our team at all?
No, Lisa has gotten her set up with the employee navigator.
Okay,
And
Is this my copy, John?
Mineral. So she
Yeah.
got that platform.
Okay.
set up as well.
Right.
maybe we could do an onboarding call where you could meet Lisa, who's your dedicated account manager,
Yeah, that'd be
Katie.
great.
I can be on that call and just kind of go over, you'll get a good intro here today, but we can cover like in a deeper dive
Yeah.
on the HR side.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Then, glad Lisa thought of this, with the open enrollment,
Yeah.
the forms like the HIPAA and all that with me leaving.
Oh, the notice and disclosure form.
Right, and all that needs to be
We'll
switched
we'll
over
update all of those. Yep,
to Ashley's name, added to all that. So
for sure.
glad she's there.
Yeah, we'll
because
make-
I
we'll make
didn't
sure-
even think about that, so.
If your name's on the Wellmark SPD, and it might be as a dedicated HR contact, we'll look, but we'll need to get those all updated.
Yeah. that needs to be
Okay.
updated.
Okay.
Same thing with any flex.
Mhm.
And I contacted Brad, but I didn't hear a response back. Is he still handling the unemployment side of it?
No.
Brad.
Because we
Oh,
got.
For ISAC?
Yeah.
So he would be where we get our dental and vision plans.
And I told him to update, but
Okay.
Well,
So
any
Thanks.
records,
yeah,
got it, just like ISAC publications.
Okay.
start with Ashley's name.
Okay,
And,
So,
you know, I did it.
but he was handling also
See how
our
much
unemployment.
oh, your unemployment pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they still have that as a program.
So she needs to get on that.
Okay.
What's required.
Could you maybe shoot me an email, actually, and that way I'll forward that. Did Brad ever respond back to you?
No,
Okay, I'll make sure that, can you see my email?
Yeah.
Yeah, assuredpartners.com. I should be able to, yeah, the
Yeah, I need to
two
get,
numbers are a little bit cut off.
Send it to, yeah,
okay.
that sounds.
Perfect. Thank you.
but, yeah. I also emailed Samantha to get her on the shared file.
Oh, billing, yep,
So
Yep.
she got that set up.
Mhm.
okay.
We're slowly getting things. There's
Yeah,
a
we have
lot to get
another-
Changed over.
The November rotation and then December, you're gonna be probably gone before invoices are released, so. Yeah, I don't think they're getting released now until about the 20th, so.
Yeah, because there is a lot of, seems like we were we get the invoice and then there'd be changes and then yeah.
Yeah, ISAC took back over all the invoicing, so there's been a little behind the scenes, some things have changed, which I think has improved the accuracy quite a bit, so. It's, it's always a snapshot in time and there's always gonna be some changes, but.
Is the courthouse open today?
Well,
Fall.
secondary roads
Was it really?
and I guess some of your sheriff employees could be, this is their holiday.
What is?
Secondary road employees, the union,
Oh, this is just a day they designated as.
Columbus Day is
Oh,
their
I
holiday.
think some schools are out. Like, I don't think East Buchanan, I don't think they have school today. I don't think so.
He never got Columbus Day.
I don't think I ever remember. I don't know.
no, I've never had Columbus Day off. I had no idea it was Columbus Day.
You just thought it was Indigenous Peoples' Day.
Yeah. Well, it's a busy day for me, that's what I know. Any day in October, November,
I
December.
might not get Veterans Day off,
Yeah.
because they got a contract, I think, wants to finish up some work that day, so I gotta be there present in the building,
Okay.
Where at?
DHS. They're gonna trust me to be in that building by myself. With all that confidential, with all that confidential.
Just don't, besides I can have conversations, but don't talk to them. It might the work done faster. Wait a minute.
think that's home to Dawn. Thank you.
Usually I get invited to a school, one of the great grandkids or something, they have programs, they had, a lot of schools do programs for Veterans Day. So I'm gonna hate missing that,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure that's fun.
because they always want, they always make sure that grandpa or great grandpa is there for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
In the school, a lot of them put on good programs for that day.
Do they?
From when that started till now. That's almost a year.
They should be out doing some fishing. There are people catching the walleyes.
It's beautiful.
Already.
Yeah,
Nice ones.
really.
My son-in-law had, he said the biggest walleye he'd ever caught. He didn't have a net. He got it up to the bank. And it was where I did some riffraffing on the bank and stuff, and the fish got off and they were kind of down in the rocks, and he was able to grab it because of the sliminess and the size of the fish. He wasn't able to hold it, and
You got back in the river?
Oh, no.
Lost.
he called me right away. I said, yeah, he says, Todd, it sounds like a fish story to me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say, where is he fishing at? Cause by me, the river, there's no water.
Yeah, the entire state, maybe not Northwest Iowa yet. I don't know if that's dried out, but Des Moines terrible too. I mean,
Yeah.
We haven't had rain in 2 months.
My husband mentioned something about this has gotta be the lowest it's been in 20 years.
Isn't it crazy? Spencer gets Rock Valley 16 inches of rain to start the summer and then we're in a severe drought.
I think, I don't know if I did, 88 was really bad. Chris,
Was it?
oh yeah, 1988 was a bad year for the river. I mean, it was,
We need to make an appointment to use it today.
you could walk across about any place.
It doesn't even look, because we have those two small dams. There's no water coming over, either one of them. So,
Wow.
I don't think it's being used. No. it's not.
Yeah, then you start worrying about.
There's also that
fish
back
kill and
office
getting
down
out
there.
here and everything.
There's that way back
Yeah.
office that nobody uses.
Oh, Karen's old office.
Yeah, I mean, there's.
Harvest is going quick.
furniture in there, but
Oh,
Not flowing them down. That's,
if anybody says they can't get the harvest done, they probably got too many acres.
yeah, yeah. That's for sure.
Cause I don't know what they do with a bag.
11, John.
Yeah.
Crops look good up here from what I saw driving up.
All dried out. All right, it's 10
Yeah,
o'clock.
okay, all right, we'll kick it off.
Right.
All right, so we're gonna talk about your employee benefits renewal for 2025. Everything that I have is final rate, so I have, your Wellmark renewal. Dental and vision are with the ISAC group benefits program, and that renews on a July 1. So we have final rates that are in force through the end of June, and then that will renew in July. And so we'll make sure to connect with you as we get closer to
Okay.
knowing what that renewal percentage will be. I'll probably know that before you have your open enrollment. And so we'll make sure to let you know if there's going to be any increase in July for your dental, which would affect, I think, the family premium because the county pays 100% of single. So,
And if the sooner, the better,
yeah,
because this year the board will be doing union contracts renewals.
okay.
Because the current contract will end June 30th of 2025. So negotiations gonna be starting here
Shortly.
shortly.
Yeah, we'll probably know in the next 30 days. Yeah, I have a board meeting with ISAC, November 13th, I believe. So I'll have to know before then.
Okay,
So,
that'd be great,
yeah.
because depending upon what the labor attorney or rep
Mm-hmm.
and the
We might
board,
want to get bids from other attorneys too to find out, make sure we're getting stuff from labor attorney.
but that's,
So we might want to get bids from other labor attorneys also. I mean, we don't, just because we've always used her doesn't mean that she's necessarily the best.
instead of Renee,
Yes.
Uh.
Just.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure to let you know as soon as possible on that. Okay, so if you go past the proposal cover, the card stock, we have a table of contents. And these are all numbered tabs. We have our agency compensation disclosure, and that's how we get paid by line of coverage. And we'll go through that on tab 1. Tab 2 is some annual reports. It's a Wellmark report that comes out once a year, and it's going to benchmark yourself to the book of business and to your prior data. Tab 3 will be your monthly reports that will be just for Buchanan County only. Tab 4 is your medical renewal. Tab 5 is your dental and vision. And that, again, that's what's current. It'll renew in July of next year. Tab 6 is life and disability. We did do some marketing. We took over your life insurance when we became your broker of record 4 years ago. But we did go to market to try to get everything lined up to a January 1. And I think you're going to want to move carriers based on what we found with your life insurance rate. And then tab 7 is accident and critical illness. And these are benefits that you buy through ISAC that we offered for the first time last January. And the county paid for 100% of the employee only accident and critical illness. And so we'll talk about that. There's a new option where we can allow employees to buy additional critical illness now. And so for open enrollment, we could allow employees to make that election if they want to pay for that through payroll deductions. Been a very successful program amongst the other 30 counties that are a part of the program.
Yeah, just reminds me I have to submit mine.
Let's submit your wellness by the end of the year. Yeah.
Submitted,
Yep. Okay.
got my physical.
The next page is our benefit management team. So I'm on the left-hand side and do the more consultative work, the mid-year reviews, the renewals. The client support team is service.ryan@assuredpartners.com. Actually, as you start and become more involved with your role, that is your go-to. So
Okay.
Lisa is your dedicated account manager. Service.ryan is an email that we all have access to. So Lisa's an account manager on our team. Tracy is another account manager. Katie kind of oversees both of them. I have access to it. So just
Okay.
that is your email. And I think Karen would say that we try to respond same day.
Okay.
Oftentimes, in a couple hours at most. And then Samantha on the right-hand side, she does all of the marketing. So when we go for renewals, she works with other carriers to solicit bids. She works with Wellmark on your renewals and alternate quotes that we get from them.
Okay.
Okay, next page is your fiscal year 25 renewal forecast. So your medical renewal is at the top with Wellmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. and the renewal percentage off expected plan costs is a 0.92%. So good renewal. Your claims, when we benchmark ourselves, and you're going to see the data to prior claims information, we're running much higher. So we're spending much more in claims than we have over the last couple of years. And you're going to see that, specifically pharmacy.
No, your Walmart, that 92%, where is
0.92.
0.9? Yeah, 0.92. So where is it? Throw a red flag up where it's not a good percent.
Fixed costs are going to be going up. You'll see that when it's broken down. That's the overall self-funded renewal, but a portion of that is fixed costs and a portion of that is claims. So claim projection wise, you're still running favorably, but your fixed costs are going to be going up because we have a lot of high cost claimants ongoing this year. Much higher than we've seen in the last couple of years. Specifically, some very expensive drugs. You'll see that. Dental and vision, again, through ISAC, renews 7/1 of 25. Guardian has your life and voluntary life. We have a very competitive proposal from Reliance Matrix. We have a lot of business with them, and I think it'll make sense to move your life insurance to Reliance. And then we could offer an open enrollment for voluntary life, which means it'd be a one-time opportunity for employees that previously declined this to get guarantee issue life insurance.
Or if they want to make a change.
Or if they want to make a change, yep. Oftentimes you'll see folks that declined it when they were a new hire and now they have a condition they weren't able to apply. And now this will be the opportunity to do that, regardless of what's happened as a pre-existing condition. Then we have accident and critical illness with Voya, again through ISAC, COBRA administration with Midwest Group Benefits, and one that either there wasn't enough room or just we forgot it, but I remembered it on the way up, is Flex with WageWorks. And currently, we have a 6-month waiting period on Flex. Is that still how it's being handled? Okay. Have we ever considered offering that at the same time with the same new hire waiting period as all other benefits?
I think the reason why it was set up that way is because if someone left,
To limit the exposure.
yeah.
So
The
with
county didn't want
the liability,
the liability, because if they set aside the maximum amount
yep.
and they used it right away, which they could, then the county's out.
No, you're not out. You can back charge them.
What's that?
You can back charge them. That's what my old company did. They
No.
said, okay, you know, this is your last paycheck and you used all of your stuff. So you owe us.
The IRS does not allow it.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No.
You can't.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
GMAC used to do that.
Yeah, no, you can't do that. So here's my thought on that. I think it's harder to administer, period, because you have a new hire waiting period for all of your benefits and you have Flex that you're waiting 6 months to make that election. There is a liability, but you're the only group of 70 employers that I work with that does it this way. And so it would be my recommendation that we make it the same waiting period as all other benefits.
Right.
There's a lot more risk of an employee coming on our health plan and having a $25,000 a month script the first month they're on the plan and then terminating employment month 2 than there is the $3,000 risk in Flex. I would make the recommendation that you keep it consistent.
Can you limit the dollar amount?
You can't.
That
No. So it'd be, I think, I can tell you what 2025 is. It goes up every year.
I don't know if they released it yet. have
But let's see, 2025 FSA election max 3,300.
they? Oh.
So we're not talking a ton of money here. And you as the employer, when someone leaves and they're in a positive balance situation, you get the money back. So what I see 6 to 7 times out of 10 employers actually win in this scenario because either employees forget to use their Flex election or they leave and they're in a positive surplus situation. Are you going to get burned every once in a while where an employee comes in, uses the $3,300 and leaves in the 5th month?
Maybe.
It's going to happen, but you're going to win in other opportunities. I just think to consolidate this, to keep it simple to administer, simple for the employee to understand, I would do that. So we can talk about all of this, but I think maybe we come back to that as a You don't have to vote on that today, but certainly when you make the decision on what you want to do with your renewal, we could add that as a consideration item.
Please do.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to tab 1. And you'll have to flip to your book here. And if you flip the page to page 3 of 7 and page numbers are in the bottom right-hand corner, you can read this document in full at your leisure. I'm not going to go through it in this meeting, but what I want to focus on is how we get paid by line of coverage. And these are all the benefits that we have directly with Buchanan County. And so we have your self-funded group medical plan. And since we took over in 2020, the fee that I've charged is $34 per contract per month. And that's never changed. And I'm not changing it for 2025. So that's staying the same. And then you can see the percent of premiums for the life and voluntary life, and it's 13%. And that was what we took that over from the previous agent. Now, when we move carriers, you're going to save a significant amount of money on the premium. So whatever, we just call out for the standard commission. So whatever Reliance pays for the standard is what we get paid. But the premium's dropping by like 70%. So we'll take a commission cut when you make that change. But it doesn't amount to, I mean, it's still somewhat nominal. And then every other product, the dental and vision, the accident and critical illness, all of those policies, the agent of record or the company of record is actually ISAC. You're a participating county, so we disclose all of those fees to ISAC every year. If you ever want to see those, I'm happy to tell you what they are, but we don't actually show these here because you're not the employer of record for those benefits. But they're the same for every county that participates in all of those benefits today. Any questions on the compensation disclosure? So no change from current, and again, the life insurance will drop by whatever the premium amount is. Okay, we can go to tab 2. This is the annual report. So this is going to benchmark yourself and also to the Walmart book of business to see how we're performing. Page numbers in the bottom right-hand corner. So let's go to page 3. After you flip the first time, it's at the bottom. It's going to say plan performance in the upper left-hand corner. Everybody on that page?
Yep.
Okay. So the first number in the top left-hand corner is the current allowed on a PMPY, which means per member per year. So per member per year, we have a $10,979 allowed amount on every member on our health plan. And we'll see how many members we have here in a few pages. That's a change of 82.6% from the prior year. When I said our claims are up, when we benchmark ourselves to ourselves, it's up 82.6% on a gross basis. That means gross paid claims, not net of stop loss reimbursements. We have a $75,000 deductible on every belly button. So anything over 75, we get that money back. And you'll see that on some reporting. So these do not take stop loss into consideration. So that's an important differential between the annual report to the monthly report. So on a gross claim basis, we're performing very poorly to the prior year. And we're 51.5% above the benchmark, which is the benchmark is 1 million members within the Walmart book of business.
Oh,
I mean, our group has always been above the benchmark. We have very high insurance rates, but thankfully we've kept them the same over the last 4 years, leaving Auxient, moving to Walmart and getting a much better discount. We've not changed rates. We've actually made the plan better. So the employee's benefit has improved over the last 4 years, which is not common. Typically, you're making the benefits worse. We go down to the graph on the left-hand side. It's going to split out that 82.6% increase, and it's going to show you where you're performing amongst inpatient, outpatient, office, and pharmacy. Inpatient is very hard to control. When you have an inpatient stay, it's for likely an accident or a severe illness. You can't control those chronic things, and it's also very hard to control pharmacy. And you're going to see those are the two areas where you're doing very poorly. We're a small group. You have to remember that. We only have 110 employees on the plan. And so if we pick up one drug that's $25,000 a month, which we have here, that's $300,000 a year. That's going to make your data look really bad when you compare to a year that you didn't have that $300,000 drug. And so it's not alarming to me to see these numbers. I see them on many groups where you pick up one or two large pharmacy drugs and you have a large inpatient stay, you can see some what looks like really poor data, but you have to remember you're not a group of 10,000 lives. You're a group of 250 members, 100 employees. And the graph on the right-hand side, if you look under the total all the way at the bottom, it's going to show the years that you've been with Wellmark. So we had a good year. Last year, we were below the benchmark, $6,000 on a per member per year. And then we had a big increase to the current year of just about 11,000. The benchmark is 7,250. We flip the page. Under the cost trends section, pharmacy amount, we went from 164,000 last year to 826,000 this year. Your group historically prior to this year was performing very well on pharmacy. We didn't have any of those super high cost drugs. Well, now we do for many different conditions, and you can see the enormous increase.
Is this these drugs something that just came available?
Yeah, some of these are new drugs. Some have been on the market for a long time. It could be for new members that we insure. I'm not going to name drugs.
Probably new members.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to name any drug names because I think in a public setting like this, that can be,
Right.
If I'm one of those members, I don't want to hear that drug name, but
Right.
this is the data. The drug names will be here and you'll be able to see them here in a few slides.
One of the, I guess, hopes on that is that they're out there long enough, they start giving generic ones out.
Yeah, they're treating cancer, they're treating autoimmune diseases. So psoriasis, arthritis, Crohn's disease, cystic fibrosis, a lot of conditions that they're not taking these drugs because they're taking these drugs because they have to.
Mm.
And these are treating a very rare condition that helps improve their quality of life. But they come at a significant cost. If you go down to the membership section there at the bottom, you'll see the total employee count for last year, 93, 98 this year. Total belly buttons or members, 260 and 262. So because the county has great benefits and the county pays most of the premium, we have a lot of spouses and a lot of kids on our plan. And that's reflective in those numbers. You go down to page 5, at the bottom here, enrollment by state on the right-hand side, everyone's in Iowa. There is another network that we could buy from Wellmark that would be a deeper discounted network, be the Iowa HMO or the Iowa point of service. We have a lot of
like HMOs.
the point of service is a hybrid, so it's the Iowa HMO in Iowa, but you still have out-of-network benefits, and we can customize the out-of-network benefits to be very similar to in-network benefits. So a lot of employers, a lot of counties actually have the point of service plan now.
It's not going to lower our pharmacy plan. It's not going to.
Wouldn't change pharmacy. It helps medical to the tune of about 10%. So what we're spending on medical, the medical paid amount current year is 1.8 million. We could save 150,000 if everybody moved to the HMO. Now, typically, if you had offered 2 plans, you need to make the HMO more attractive, so less expensive in contribution. So you give some of that savings back to the employee. But I just want to make sure you understand there is another network that we can reduce what we're paying on medical claims. And it has been attractive to many employers. I've mentioned this every year I'm here, I try to mention that. And I understand some groups are just very reluctant to leave the gold
Typically,
standard.
When you talk changing stuff, then people lose stuff.
Yeah, it's never going to be 100% seamless when you make a change. We're going to have we would lose some access to some chiropractors that you have today. That's the biggest impact, but you could still go to Mayo. You're not losing access to quality care.
Yeah, but you're still losing services.
You can't, yes. Yeah, chiropractics is really the big disruption. Yep. Okay, let's keep going. Flipping to page 7, you can see how the network's performing. And we have a great network. We have the PPO, which is national in scope. It's still a deep discounted network in Iowa. The percentage in the upper right-hand corner, 55.3%. So providers bill their charged amount, then it's discounted down to the allowed amount. And the difference between billed and allowed is the provider discount. And so that's equaling 55.3% overall. So if you bill 4 million, we're gonna actually allow 2 million or 1.9. That's approximately what was charged on your plan, about $4 million, and then it got reduced down. 99.5% of claims occur in network. We have the best network that you can buy. Again, you have the Alliance Select National Network. And so that's why it can't be quite as deeply discounted, because everyone's in the network. So the HMO, or the point of service, it's a little more selective on providers, specifically chiropractors. And so the reimbursement is less. So if a provider is going to be in that network and differentiate themselves from other providers in the area in hopes that they get more business because they're in that network, they're accepting a lesser of a reimbursement. So that reimbursement cut gets passed to the client as savings.
Yeah. And
I
if they're,
hate that.
if people, if our employees are doctoring with somebody that's out of that network right now, I don't even.
So doctors, and I'm not sure a chiropractor is considered a doctor, but some say they are, some say they aren't. Doctors outside of chiropractors is almost an exact match. So the PPO and point of service are almost 100% the same. And all hospitals in Iowa would be in the PPO and the point of service. So you're not losing access to 99.8% of care. It's chiropractors that we would lose.
But a lot of people use them for chiropractic services and stuff, and I'm even comfortable with certain chiropractor or something, and I'm sure everybody else does. Maybe they've tried different ones, and then whatever they got wrong with them, they find out that this chiropractor does a better job of releasing,
Sure.
taking care of their pain and stuff. And more like, I mean, they can still go there, but it's got a pocket expense, you know, if we do this change, and then they might not be able to get their condition well treated for.
Yeah, it may not be the year to think about it when you're dealing with basically a no change, but I just want you to know that opportunity exists. So there's a way we can cut 7 to 10% pretty easily and not affect many others.
Something that's gotta be in our radar.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
definitely.
Okay, let's flip back to page. I'm gonna go quite a ways back here because we could spend an hour on this report alone. All the way back to page 26. This is going to be a review of our top providers, so we can see where care is being accessed. We have top 10 facilities at the top, and this year Mayo's number 1. You're going to see the prior year it was way down the list. Last year we had allowed charges of $21,000 at Mayo in Rochester, and this year it was just under $400,000. So a dramatic increase. University of Iowa, same thing, 60,000 last year, 265 current year. Our own health system, 86,000 in Buchanan County, 242 this year. Again, these are all on a gross basis, so significant increases in what we're paying our top providers. And then you can see practitioners at the bottom. Again, Mayo went up 1,000%, $20,000 to $200,000. So we had some severe conditions that were diagnosed that care is being directed there. And if I had it in network and I was this close, I would be going to Rochester as well. Page 27 at the bottom is your pharmacy data. The graph on the right-hand side is the best way to illustrate how we're doing. The blue bar is Walmart's average book of business. You're going to see their book of business is going up every year, starting at 1,400, ending at 1,800 over a 4-year period. We only have 2 years of data, so we start below the benchmark at 1157. We were doing very well, and then we blew through that because we had some high-cost drugs that started to be dispensed.
When did those start being dispensed?
Yeah, this report does not run on a calendar year, so this is running August of 23 to July of 24. So in that time frame.
All right.
Yep. If we flip the page and you go to page 29, you can see the names of the drugs. And you can see all the way on the right-hand side, the per script cost. So we start at 25,630 or 24,632 per script. 12 prescriptions, $300,000 for that drug, and that's an autoimmune drug. The second drug is a cancer drug, and that's 14,300 a script. Third drug is an allergic reaction drug. There's a diabetic drug. Also, this drug is used for weight loss. So Ozempic and Mounjaro, I'm fine saying that in an open setting. Those are the two most common weight loss drugs. Our plan does not cover weight loss drugs. So that is the standard, and 99.9% of self-funded health plans do not cover weight loss drugs. I think I had that question asked, and so I got an alternate proposal. It's going to affect your rates to the tune of about 7 to 8% overall. So we go from about a 0.92% renewal. It'd be between a 7 and 8% renewal if you covered weight loss drugs. The fixed costs don't change. It's all on the claims.
Is there a way to do a two-tier plan?
There's not.
So we couldn't offer them two different plans, but we can with HMO.
Correct. Yep, we can offer two plans. Oh, you're saying if you offered two plans, one with weight loss, one without weight loss drugs?
Yeah,
I didn't ask that question.
like two, like, you know, if this is a plan that you want, and this is, you know, the direction that you're heading, then you can have this, you can have plan B. If you're just gonna be normal, whatever, then you can have plan A and have like maybe a tiered drug in plan B or whatever.
Yeah, they can't tier out. I did ask your question about, can they just make the weight loss drug a much higher copay? That can't be done. Not just for weight loss, because it's also treating type 2 diabetes. And so they don't have the technology to differentiate between the condition. Two plans, I didn't ask that question. I could go back if you want me to, having one plan with weight loss, one without.
Yep.
My guess is they're going to say no, but I can ask.
But that's the issue with these two drugs, is the fact that there's people using it because of a healthcare management.
Correct. It's usually type 2 diabetes, hypertension.
Sorry, but weight loss is also a healthcare, because I've watched people get off their heart medications, no longer have to go to that cardiologist, no longer have to take their blood pressure medicine. So that's also, in my mind, that's also.
But it's how your
obesity
physician.
It's not classified as a disease today by insurance companies. And so I don't disagree with what you're saying, but that's just not how they look at it.
I mean, sometimes I know people think that, they can control it, but I know people that actually can't control it, and they're not eating any more than what I'm eating.
Yeah. I'll ask about the two plans.
Is there some way that the county could have those two plans, one with higher drug?
Well, I think if you covered weight loss drugs, we'd have to make that plan 7 to 8% more expensive. So we'd have to charge employees more to participate. I wouldn't have the county pay more towards that plan.
I wasn't saying,
But whatever you're paying towards single and family on the plan today, you could make as a contribution towards that plan, and the employee would pay the difference.
a little bit more. I'm not saying the total, I'm not saying $1,200 more.
Well, it wouldn't be that, because our premiums are $2,700, so 10% is $270. So it'd be about $250 more expensive for family monthly.
Is either one of these orally taken, or is either one of these that we're talking about, are these inject? And I know people get monthly injections with some of that stuff.
Yeah, like the autoimmune drugs are typically injectables. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know the cancer drug, if that's, a lot of those are oral drugs now. The diabetic drugs and weight loss drugs, it's like a prick into your, basically a small needle once a week. I had one employer cover weight loss drugs, what we budgeted to what actually materialized. It was 200% of what we thought it would be. We budgeted $250 and we're spending about $500. Similar size group. A little bigger, but not much. So I would just be very cautious. Even if we set up and Walmart says it's much more expensive, they don't know. They don't know how many people are going to actually take these. If you open it up.
Well, I mean, but the employee would have to pick that plan.
Correct. But if you can do that for $250 a month, knowing that that's a $12,000 to $1,200 a month drug to buy in the open market, 40% of America is obese, technically obese. And if you open up these drugs, we're going to have, I just know this other employer was shocked. And it's affecting everybody's premiums on a move forward basis because we did not collect enough premium.
Yeah, this time we only know about 1 or 2 people that.
My advice would be, I think in the next 24 to 48 months, there's gonna be more competition in the space and it's gonna drive down the cost. You're gonna see a $1,200 drug become $300. And then that's
on the black market and buy it for about that.
and that's the more appropriate time, I think, to consider covering the drugs. I wouldn't do it now. Even with two plans, it's still adverse selection because we can't charge them enough more for them not to take that plan. And so the county is going to lose, even if we collect $250 more in premium, if we have more people take the drug than what Walmart thinks. And they don't have a survey to our population. They don't have that information. I would just be very cautious. I think that could lead to, it's going to lead to more significant increases in the future if we do it right now.
I agree. I think it's time to just see what happens here. Let it play out for a year or two. I got a question. When that legislation was passed on diabetic, saying where they just limited to $35 and stuff.
Just for Medicare.
That's just for Medicare. It didn't affect somebody like us.
So here's what happened. If these companies want to make X amount of revenue they're all publicly traded pharmaceutical companies. If you suppress one side of the equilibrium, and Medicare represents about half of the income for these companies, what's it going to do to the other side to get that profit margin back to where it needs to be? So it's just putting more pressure on private pay.
And they were talking about the same thing with inhalers.
Yeah, for asthma.
You see, we got Trelegy down here. That's really, a lot of that shows a flag that's for COPD. In a lot of cases, it's not.
Yep.
For COPD.
Yep.
And
Yeah, unfortunately, that legislation did not have, it probably had a negative effect to private pay health plans like ours. Whether, if they can only make $35 on the diabetic drug here, on insulin, they're gonna raise it elsewhere to recoup those dollars.
that's understandable.
Okay, let's go to tab 3. We'll keep going. We're about a half an hour in. This is our year-to-date aggregate report. So this is the best high-level overview of our self-funded health plan. This will take into account stop-loss reimbursements. Remember, the report we just looked at, gross claims. This will show net claims. So we have months January through August of 2024 broken out by facility, practitioner, and pharmacy. So we can see for the calendar year how much we're spending in each bucket. That totals $1.6 million. Through 8 months, we've had Walmart reimburse us as the plan sponsor $559,000 because we have multiple members that are significantly above $75,000 in claims. So you take 1.6 minus 559 and we net out to $1,072,000. So on a net basis, we're doing just fine. The estimated ag liability, that next column to the right, is the year-to-date maximum. So 1.8 million, that's what Walmart is saying as a max. So I add the footnotes at the bottom here. You bring the 1.8 million down, that is maximum claims at 125% of expected. So we want to look at what's expected claims through 8 months. It's $1,437,000. We're at $1,072,000. So that's a $365,000 surplus, which means we're running at about 75% of expected claims year to date. Now we have a 12-18 contracts. We run out. So claims that are incurred in 12, paid in 18. So medical claims don't process real time. They take time to pay. So our percentage as we get to December, this contract will continue to run to next June. I would envision we're going to complete, that percentage will be close to 90% when this contract is done. So keep that 90% in mind. We're still having a fine year on a net claims paid. The reserve, I think Chris I think it's gone up. It's probably gone up
We
over the month.
just approved it. this
Did
morning.
you? Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to put you on the spot. I was just thinking in general terms, I know it's continuing to go up.
2, 3, I think.
2.3.
2.32446424.
And I think if we did a snapshot a year ago at this exact time, it's probably up 250,000+.
Mhm.
So we're still going in the right direction. We've not changed rates. We've had no increase and we've made the plan better. But remember, we're going to finish at approximately 90% this year. So if you flip the page, you can see where we were last year. Really, the only number you need to look at is the percentage. This contract is done. This is the full 12/18. So it started January of 23. It ran through June of 24 at 72%. So we had a phenomenal year. So you can see our claims this year are up on a gross basis, a huge percentage, but even on a net of stop loss basis, we're still up significantly. And that's where, again, the added pressure of covering weight loss drugs and the unknown of that could put you in a position where we have to take an increase next year. And I think if we don't do that, I think it's very unlikely we have to take an increase next year, possibly the year after. We finally stabilized our health plan that was out of control before we got involved.
Exactly.
I mean, you had the highest rates of any county in the state when I took over. If you flip the next page, and this is the last page in this section, this is our year-to-date through 8 months large claim report. There's no member names, but you're gonna see the amount of members that have exceeded our $75,000 deductible, and we have 5 through 8 months. We have 2 members over 200,000, or 3 members over 200, 1 approaching 300. So we have a lot of conditions, and we saw that in the data and the reporting. So Walmart is going to lose money on stop loss. They've already paid us more than we're going to pay them for 12 months. They've reimbursed us in 8. And so that leads me to believe that you're going to have I knew we were going to have a large stop loss increase, and you'll see that on tab 4. So your group was one of the worst groups of all self-funded groups that I managed for fixed costs. Walmart's average was 7 to 10%. Yours is going to be much higher. Yours was about 20. So we have current, renewal, and option 1. Walmart is the administrator for all 3. The specific deductible, that's the per member deductible that we buy. It's 75, renewing to 75. I got an option for 85. Contract type is a 12/18, so incurred in 12, paid in 18. And the aggregate deductible is 125% of expected. So we do have a cap on what we have to spend in a catastrophic year. We have expected claim factors in the next section down. We have 32 single contracts, 71 family for 103 total. You can see the single and family claim factor, but really the number that it totals in that gray box of 2239, renewing to 2154. So Walmart's actually reducing your claim projection, which I don't necessarily love. I wish they would have just kept that the same. Because I don't like lowering claims in a couple good years, and then we have a bad year, and then we have to have a massive increase. So don't pay any attention to that, but that is a number that we have to look at because it's part of your renewal. What we want to look at is your reinsurance. 541,000 this year for specific and aggregate, renewing to 651. So again, Walmart has already paid you as a plan sponsor more in reimbursement than they're going to collect in premium for 12 months. They've paid you over this in 8. So Walmart will likely is going to lose $200,000 to $300,000 on stop loss to your group this year.
They're trying to make it up for the renewal.
Well, and if these conditions continue, it's going to be tough for them to make money for a while when we have drugs that are $300,000 a year. If we had any other stop loss carrier, if you were still with Sun Life and Oxient, you'd be looking at a much higher renewal. 40, 50, 60%. They'd laser people. So that person that's on a $300,000 drug, instead of a $75,000 deductible, it'd be $250. So Walmart is super conservative in how they pool all the stop loss premium in the state of Iowa. It leads to the most consistency for consumers, for clients. It's fair. It's beyond fair what we're looking at, but it's still 20%. Then if we go down to the administration, you can see the Walmart admin fee. You went from below 100 employees to above, and so they actually gave you a reduced admin fee because you went into the next tier. That's not normal. So you went from 54.67 to 53 flat. Your pharmacy fee went up just slightly by 23 cents. New this year, and I'm showing this as a true credit, it's pharmacy rebates. Because our pharmacy spend has gone up so dramatically, what manufacturers pay Walmart to be a covered drug on the formulary, Walmart pays you as a plan sponsor back for those dollars. So manufacturers of drugs incentivize insurance companies that have the drugs covered under the health plan, and in turn, they give them a percent of what the drug costs, and on average, it's about 35% of the drug cost goes back as a rebate. That rebate Walmart then in turn gives to you as the plan sponsor. If you're fully insured, Walmart keeps that $350,000. Since you're self-insured, they give you 100% of the rebate. So this is a credit that you see every quarter, and so Chris would see this come throughout the year as a quarterly offset to expenses, because it's a true credit. And so it's $360,000. And so it was a very small number when our pharmacy spend was $150,000 a year. Now that we're spending approaching $1 million, it's a much bigger number. Walmart is trying and doing a better job to improve this rebate percentage. So the drugs are going to be covered. We want to recoup as much of a rebate as possible, which then offsets our expense. So this will actually show a negative number in the total expense for administration. So you can see our fixed costs, 301 renewing to 410, and that's all stop loss. And then the expected cost of the plan, and this is the number that we want to benchmark our contributions to at the bottom. So at the very bottom, you'll see the county contributions. The premiums that we use to fund our plan are shown here, $1,077 and $26.93. So if we renew as is, we're funding 2.7 million. Our expected plan cost, if we recover that same amount of pharmacy rebate, which we have no idea what it's going to be, but we're just going to use what we got this year as a guess for what it's going to be next year.
Right.
We're going to be overfunding our plan by about $150,000, which means our reserve should still grow.
When that rebate, Chris, does that go back in the health trust fund? That's where that goes.
Yeah, anything that pertains to the employee health insurance plan is in that separate account.
Okay.
Yeah, and how it works, it comes quarterly, it offsets your expenses. So
if I have claims for such and such amount, then it's gonna show a credit amount.
Yep.
But it states what it is.
It's not really incurring revenue, but it's treated as revenue.
It is,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
offsetting your expenses.
Yeah.
It's acting in the same way. So I wouldn't make any change with anything. If you want to renew all of the plans as is for the deductible and out of pocket and co-pays for the employee, the option one at 85,000, you'll see the premium savings is about $60,000 to increase our employer deductible by 10,000. I don't think it makes sense to do that this year. We already have 5 people that have gone through that additional 10,000. So I'm not sure the plan would be in a position to save. It's a little more exposure because we're paying claims now to 85,000 instead of 75. If it was $100,000 savings, I'd say let's increase our deductible.
Right.
So I would recommend you renew as is. You keep the same contributions listed at the bottom, which would be no change. So no change for the employee if you keep the same percentage that the county pays. And I think this will be 4 consecutive years with no change in premiums. And again, we reduced the out-of-pocket by, I remember, I think like $500 for single and $1,000 for family.
Okay, that's correct.
Yep.
So we've stayed status quo with making improvements.
Without changing rates.
Yeah.
Yep. And trend in the market, most employers are going up 8% a year. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
You started at such an inflated cost because we had the wrong network with an insignificant discount. You know, that 55% was about 25. When we went from 25 to 55, that was all additional revenue for the county. And that's why we've not had to change rates, and you've seen the reserve go from below $1 million to now 2.3.
It doesn't seem like it's very much in reserves or below.
I know.
I can-
It
But
would have been a little nerve wracking.
But then what it does is, because we also have a line item in our budget in 99 department, that in the past, we've always had to put like 500,000 in there that we collected from tax money specifically if the health insurance plan
Wasn't
needs
for-
funding.
Yeah,
Right.
And we've been able to reduce that.
So that's a good thing.
I can remember back in the day when there was red ink on that report
mm-hmm.
and we were holding back, payment to providers.
And you're making the plans worse every year,
Yeah,
having to make changes.
this has been one of the biggest positive changes that I've seen since I've been a supervisor.
Well, it's good for the employees, plus it's good for the taxpayer. We're not having to take that money.
I'm glad you came and saw me at
I
that
did, yeah.
conference.
Yeah.
Worked out well for everybody here. It's impacted people's lives. This is a huge part of their total compensation package. What they pay in premiums and out-of-pocket expenses for their health plan. Still $4,000 is the family out of pocket. That's still a lot of money. And you add in, you had 10% increases every year, how that would affect them and their net checks.
Yep.
Makes a big impact, so. Okay, if we go to tab 5, this is your dental and vision. I just want to do a quick review. I don't anticipate any change to the dental plans from ISAC. They'll be the same plans. I expect a very low, if any, change in premium. So I would say a 3% cap, and it could be a 0% again this year. The dental plan that we have is with Delta Dental. The benefit shown here, we have 2 networks. We have the PPO network, which is a discounted, narrower network, and we have the Premier, which is about 90% of Iowa dentists. So the Premier is shown, it's $1,000 annual max benefit, and the plan is going to pay 100% for preventative items, 80% for basic, and 80% for most major.
No. But your preventative is taken off of the
1,000.
1,000.
Not anymore. So we added a new endorsement last year called Checkups Plus.
Okay.
So your 2 teeth cleanings a year that typically reduce your 1,000 down to maybe 600.
Mhm.
They no longer do that, so you keep the full 1,000. So ISAC added an additional endorsement to your plan called Checkups Plus, so that's no longer happening.
Oh, good.
So members actually have about $1,400 in dental benefit if you get your teeth cleaned every 6 months. So that's a unique endorsement that very few plans have.
Can retirees, continue on with this?
Not post 65. To age 65, we do have some counties that do that. Yep, you can do medical dental vision to 65, but then you're cut off. And that's the same with the health plan.
I'll send them to just the 18-month Cobra.
Correct. Yep. Yep. So I don't anticipate a change in rate. You can see the total premiums at the bottom and then what the employee pays on the right-hand side. So $20 for single and $38.46 for family.
So going back to Clayton's question. So if he's over 65, he's better off keeping working.
You can take Cobra. You can take Cobra, so you can
For
still
18
get it for 18 months. Yep. Yep, and that's your right. It's 100% of the premiums, 102 actually. So, but for dental, it's,
That's the benefit.
$40.35. It's a great dental plan. You can't buy dental insurance as a retiree that competes with the employer offerings. That's where it's too bad there's not more programs set up for Medicare eligible beneficiaries for dental and non-medical stuff.
That's comes out kind of the same. I don't think there's a way you continue on with the life insurance thing.
Yeah, and it gets very expensive on the life insurance side of things. You can take life insurance. It is convertible. You can convert your term policy to a permanent policy, but it comes at a cost, significant cost, when you compare term to permanent insurance. Okay, and then the next page is your vision plan. And you have the best plan offered through ISAC's portfolio with Avisus. It's a $10 eye exam copay every 12 months. And then there's a $10 copay for materials, and that's like single through trifocal lenses. You have $150 allowance every year for contacts. And then $150 allowance if you're a glasses wearer every 2 years. What this doesn't show at the top, and I've included some footnotes at the bottom, many lens options are covered in full. So you picked the plan that had the tinting, the UV protection. A lot of those enhancements to lenses that are expensive are covered in full under this plan. So we have a lot of employees that participate. 63 employees are on the plan, which is a pretty good chunk for this being a voluntary 100% employee paid benefit.
A lot of them don't even have glasses and use it then.
Yep. Standard progressives are also covered in full. If you do the level 2 and level 3 progressives, there's a copay, but this is a great vision plan. Okay, tab 6. We have current renewal in option 1 for the employer paid life insurance. The company pays, or the county pays $15,000 for a death benefit for all full-time eligible employees. There's an age reduction starting at age 65, so the $15,000 is reduced to 65% if you're 65, to 45% if you're 70 still working, and as you age, they reduce the percentage of coverage in force. If you go down to the financials, you can see you're spending 32 cents per thousand of coverage today. Reliance Standard will do this for 6 cents. This is kind of alarming. I've never seen a quote come in this far below what is current. And the total spend is not a lot today. It's $7,000, but we can offer the same exact thing with a different carrier that we have a lot of business with. That is A-rated, great company for 76.7% less.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Yep.
That's a no-brainer.
Yep, so I would do that. Also at the bottom, today employees can buy spouse and child coverage on this policy. There's a $5,000 benefit and a $10,000 benefit. Reliance will do the $10,000 benefit for the price of the current 5. So everyone will get 10. So you can get away from having them choose. They're automatically going to get 10,000 for their spouse, 10,000 for their kids.
Because what's happening now with under Guardian, we lost a lot. I'll have to say that.
Yeah.
Because they tried to, with the renewal this year, where everyone could, they had dependent coverage or spouse coverage. It was, maximum was 5,000.
Yep. Sam said she got them to grandfather it in,
She got it to grandfathered in.
but it's not smooth.
Right.
Yeah, so-
We're having issues if we enroll someone, even here recently, we enrolled a new employee, but a couple of days later, we had to go in because they also wanted dependent coverage, which they didn't do right away because they didn't have all their information. So we went back in to try to enter it. Guardian wouldn't honor it. We had to contact them through the chat. Finally, we got them, what was it, Friday? To change it. It's like, we only did it a couple days ago.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a short-term interim struggle to that going away completely. And everyone will get 10.
Yeah.
And there isn't going to be no choice. I think everyone will be happy because the folks that are paying for 5 today are going to get 10 at the same cost. And whoever is paying for 10 today is going to get it for half the cost. Okay. Next page is voluntary life. So this is where employees can purchase additional life insurance at their own expense through post-tax payroll deductions. Want to make sure that it is post-tax. Some employers have been doing pre-tax on this for a long time, and that's a no-no. So Guardian on the left, Reliance Matrix on the right. Reliance can offer up to $300,000 of coverage. Today, your maximum is $100,000. We can also offer spouse voluntary life, and I think you should. Most employers do. And then also dependent child voluntary life.
So they could choose more than the 10,000.
Yep, and you can add it right here to the voluntary life. Also, the guarantee issue amounts. Today, if anyone's over 65, they only have $50,000 of guarantee issue. Reliance will give everyone $100,000, $30,000 for spouse, $10,000 for child. So again, it's a one-time open enrollment. So anyone who previously declined has a chance to get these amounts one time.
Okay, so the other issue is, that they took away under the guardian plan is if someone got married. So at first, the enrollment was for the single plan or single individual.
Okay.
They got married, wanted to add their spouse. Guardian wouldn't let them. Because the initial enrollment, well, they weren't married, so they couldn't add.
They won't let you add an open
No,
enrollment? Yeah, that's bizarre. Well, that wouldn't happen.
that's not gonna happen. under-
Yeah, we've had nothing but issues with Guardian as well. And again, we took this over. Guardian's not a carrier we work with very often, and so we've just kept it in place because it wasn't completely broke, but it's getting there.
Okay,
So
So I
that's what I wanted also to get all of your benefits aligned to January, as many as I could. And so that was a 9/1 renewal, and Reliance will be a 1/1 to match your medical renewal.
So when the board makes the decision which way to go, I just want them to be aware what issue we are having with the guardian plan.
Employees will like this change. They're gonna get an opportunity to enroll in guarantee issue life insurance at the same rate. So they'll be, I think, thrilled.
And these benefits will take effect January of this year.
25,
Yeah,
yep,
25.
yep.
And if they enroll during open enrollment on this, there's no
No health,
fiscal,
no health questions up to 100,000. If someone elects 300, then they have to go through health underwriting. But if they can go up to the 100, I just sign in their name.
it's a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
See, and now currently under guardian, it's up to 50,000, no rider, or no health, additional health. Anything above the 50,000, you gotta fill out a,
Health statements.
Yeah.
Physical.
And then I included one last proposal. I don't know if there's any interest here, but I've had some other counties that have moved forward with long-term disability. They've had some situations where employees get disabled, oftentimes at a young age. And IPERS and Social Security people think they have disability coverage, but it's a very limited benefit, which you have through IPERS, especially if you've not been working in the system very long, or Social Security if you're not making as much money as you will later in life. So this is a full long-term disability proposal from Reliance Matrix as well that would give someone who's disabled from their job up to 60% of their earnings to a maximum of $10,000 a month
And it costs us $21,750.80.
for the entire year for all employees. You're insuring $600,000 of monthly payroll at 60%. So you're insuring over $7 million a year at 60% that you can pay for just over $20,000.
the only way the county's offering this right now would be through Aflac
Is there where they can buy it on their own,
Yeah.
some type of,
as a payroll deduct.
yep. And so that's different for everybody. Yeah. I've just had more and more counties ask about it and move forward and purchase this, so I wanted to show it
This
to you.
would be a county provided benefit and no cost to the employee.
Yep, yep. If you make it voluntary, then it double or triples the price. So to cut down on cost, you make it 100%, just like the life insurance. Yeah, if you take your life insurance savings, it's about a $15,000 net increase.
Be the premium for the life insurance?
The premium,
15,000.
yep. So you go from $7,000 a year to $1,641. So it's going to save about $5,500, $5,400. So you could take that off the cost of the LTD. So you're at 16-ish on that.
Boy, if you're really flush with money, it'd be a great deal.
Right.
I don't feel very flush.
I don't either.
It was just for consideration.
Yeah, no,
Just so you know.
it makes, I can understand, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's employees don't understand the benefit until you have one person go down and they can't come back to work. And they realize that it takes a long time to get Social Security disability. IPERS, you may not have anything depending on your tenure. This starts paying right away.
I have a friend that was injured at work and took him 5 years to get disability. And
Yeah.
he practically went broke because it just took everything.
And I have a city similar in size to your group who passed on this for 8 years, had a 26-year-old kid go out, just started working 2 years before. He'll never work again. They didn't have disability. I had talked about it every year with them. Cost them $10,000. They bought it the next day. So keep it in the back of your mind. I'm happy to show it to you every year. I really believe in disability. Income replacement is, in my mind, almost as important as healthcare, because if you don't have any income, you can't pay for any healthcare.
It comes down,
I just see historically not a lot of counties have done this, but I'm starting to see more consider, and a lot in some cases are actually moving forward and buying it.
it comes down to the bottom line, how sympathetic you want to be towards the hardship.
Correct. You hope you never use it. You hope you never have an employee go out on LTD. But
We've all heard stories.
with time, it's gonna happen. Yep.
We've all seen it.
And we've got a lot of employees that are in critical hazardous situations on a daily basis.
Secondary roads, sheriff,
Sheriff Department, jail.
yeah. Yeah.
But there again, if that happens at work, it's different than happening on the outside, you know.
Yeah, workers'
to a
comp
degree.
will cover the healthcare portion of it and maybe some portion of wages, but that's not an income replacement
No.
policy. That's really meant to pay for missed wages at work for X amount of time. It's not to age 67 or 68 like a policy like this would be.
And will this, if they go that route, would it be whether they got injured while working or at home?
Correct. Yes, yep. Yep, it's 24-hour coverage. So they'll try to offset for anything that they're gonna receive through workers' comp. They'll offset by any potential benefit there, but they pay. And so for any off-the-job injury, this is gonna be a covered injury or illness.
Brian, if down the road we decided we wanted to do this,
Mm-hmm.
what's the latest that we could do it to go into effect this year? Or I guess
It's not
We'd be-
somebody's wage.
we'd be talking next year.
Yes.
It'd have to be in next year's budget. Do something.
Well, if you want to do it January 1st, we would have to get the material ready for our open enrollment.
Yeah, it'd be an
I don't think
employer.
we can do it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just keep it as a consideration item for next year. The price will be very similar, if any change at all. The only thing that would change is your payroll. So if your payroll goes up because you get increases, then the premium goes up with that.
I think this is something that future wise, we should look at. It'd be a terrific benefit.
Awesome benefit. Yep. Okay, the last tab 7, is your accident and critical illness through ISAC. The first highlight sheet is what we give employees today. That's a review of the accident policy. Incredible benefit that ISAC reduced the cost on this tremendously because they buy this for all 2,600 employees in their health plan. We got to tag along with that at the reduced cost. So the county pays that $7.10 for single. If you're enrolled in the health plan, you get this at no cost. Then you can see the buy-up amounts listed on this chart on the right-hand side for the core plan and enhanced plan. The enhanced plan has higher payouts based on the type of accident and severity of the injury. They all include the $100 wellness benefit though. So any employee, spouse, child that gets a physical throughout the year, you need to remember to file your claim with Voya and you get a $100 check. We have this through my company. I just put an Outlook reminder and submit the claim. We get $500. We get more back in premium, and our premiums are much higher than what we've negotiated for ISAC, but it's free insurance because I get $500 tax free. I'm paying about $350 in premium. As long as you remember to fill out the wellness claim, you cannot lose. And in this situation, employees pay $0 and they can get $100.
And I've been trying to send out reminders.
Good. Yeah, that's great.
employees. We have a wellness program that
Yeah.
they too have been trying to get employees to do.
And get your physical, which is covered in full by your health plan. So that was an inexpensive way for your county to offer some type of wellness program. It's just by paying for the
Spending to
expense.
get it done.
Correct. Yep. Next page is the employer paid critical illness, so that you're paying for a $5,000 critical illness benefit for all full-time eligible employees. You can see the schedule of benefits on the right-hand side. These are for more severe diagnosis. But like I mentioned when we started the meeting, the next page is a voluntary critical illness. So employees, if you want to offer this at renewal, employees can purchase up to an additional $30,000 of this benefit, and it is incredibly inexpensive. And it's not age banded like 99.9% of these are sold. It's all a composite rate, $12.30 per 10,000 per month. And this is portable at the same price when you retire, when you leave employment, you can take this with you at the same cost. So as you age, a similar policy like this, if you're 65 years old, per $10,000 would be 6 or 7 times the cost of what you see here, because they're using the average age of all employees within the ISAC pool. So this is just something that you can offer if you want to for open enrollment.
I know it's a good deal.
If you compare it to like an Aflac type premium, it would be much more expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, both my boys got hurt this year during football, and one had an ambulance ride, and then we had 3 ER visits within 2 weeks. And so, yeah, I got a kickback that's going to help cover the bills.
See the accident plan.
Mhm.
Yeah, great. Not great that they had the accidents,
Yes.
but
That's one thing.
football, that's what happens.
The one that got the concussion and we left the hospital, and I said, hey, the good thing about it, I got this new insurance plan that we're gonna get a kickback on this
Yeah.
bill. Not that I like to see it hurt,
No,
but it's gonna help.
it helps pay for your,
And he rolls his eyes. I'm like, yeah, I get it.
but it'll be a decent check.
It was 875.
Yeah, that's great. That's the intent of this, is to help pay for your out-of-pocket medical expenses. All right, that's everything. You want to go back and touch on any of the sections? I do think, again, aligning your flex new hire waiting period to match all benefits, I think is something I would consider. Your medical renewal, if you want to make no changes, you can renew with the same plan, same premium, same employee contribution. Moving to Reliance Standard, I think makes a lot of sense for the life insurance side of things, for the life and voluntary life.
Take action to change the.
We're looking at having to do an
Yes.
action on this one.
You don't have to do it today. You can do it next week. I would do it soon, just so we can start preparing open enrollment.
Say that if you timed, Karen timed, everybody and Ashley timed to get.
Time to coordinate. Yep.
We don't want to put this on.
But it doesn't have to happen today. Unless you want to.
Are you guys questioning something on what you
No.
would like to do?
No, not really. I think, I'm ready,
Yeah,
The issue is for open enrollment, we're kind of down.
yeah, the sooner the better, I would say for you guys, correct?
Yeah,
Mhm. Okay.
unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, I see renewal as normal, and the only change would be the life insurance change. Because that is a big deal. But
And the flex.
it's up for discussion.
And
And the flex.
Yeah.
How many people did you say we have in flex right now?
Flex, it's more than I'm probably thinking 25,
Really? That's more.
maybe not that many.
I don't know. Really, I couldn't give you a good guess.
really, that's kind of a no-brainer us to do it.
You know, if you know you have expenses coming in,
We all doctor's expenses are,
Off
you can get more money out of your check, and some people that you just don't like to see that.
but it's pre-tax.
I know.
They don't understand.
If you don't use it, you'll lose it, and so that's the risk.
I can always buy a pair of glasses or something.
Go to the dollar stores and get mine.
Just your readers.
Yeah, I'm ready.
After they eat, please.
Some people are stuck with big bills for glasses.
Oh,
Yeah.
Don't hit me.
my spouse
You're lucky.
was- She had
Yeah.
prescription stuff,
Yeah,
but when she had her cataract surgery, that was a big improvement.
So,
You make a motion
I
that,
am not, but I would make a motion that we renew the medical as discussed. Change the life insurance carrier and adjust the flex.
To
enrollment
take an enroll
opportunity.
right away instead of 6 months down the road.
do you want to offer the critical illness too, the voluntary critical illness, where employees can buy up on that? That's
Yes.
at their own cost.
that's.
With the-
Yes.
Yeah.
They cover it.
I think that covers everything we had discussed. right?
Yep.
Okay, I'll make a second to that motion.
the first and the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Very good.
Thanks. I can get this open to the right page.
Yeah, as far as open enrollment, do you have some dates that you've thought about?
Not really.
Maybe in the next week or so, if you wanted to think about dates and shoot an email to our service team, and then we'll start working on your materials now.
Probably gonna have to be around the first part of either the first week here in November or the third week. Because Ashley's gone for a seminar.
Okay.
We go with the third week.
And I know now we have employees, we make all the elections by paper, right? You then take everything and put it into Employee Navigator. That's how we handled it.
So it's also gonna depend on when you want that information in Employee Navigator.
We'll want it in, no later than the end of November, I would say. At the
So
very
then we'll
latest.
probably have to go with that first week in November.
The first week in November.
Um,
And you'll have employee meetings that first week too.
Well, that would be when we have the employee meetings, is November, sometime between November 4th and November 8th.
Okay.
Where are you thinking you're gonna have them at, Karen?
What's that?
Where are you thinking you may have them meetings at?
Well, and that's the other thing.
EOC Center.
Well, we
Because
can't
of the
have it.
election.
Yeah, election, we gotta stay away from that out there because that's a voting precinct at AOC.
We could contact,
We only have. to-
Independence.
Day of.
River's Edge, see if we can.
It's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday until I get the equipment out of there.
So Thursday.
We can contact River's Edge again and probably use them.
We've been really fortunate with River's Edge, working with the Director Beatty on that stuff. We had no problem with that, but I mean, are you planning on dividing this in 2 stages or how many stages are you gonna do this in?
At least 2 different days because you have 24-hour service people over here. So they're not gonna be able to attend maybe a certain time.
So you're gonna, yeah,
Or do
you're gonna do,
you
you
do
gotta
2
do
different times on the same day? Could we do that?
Yeah,
an AM and a PM.
so maybe have 1 day, but 2 different times.
Mm-hmm.
This being, but I was just gonna say, this being open enrollment, but there's very few changes really happening.
The only thing would be is the life insurance. Well,
Yeah.
everyone will have to complete a new form.
Oh, they would have a new form.
Here's another thought, and you've not done this as a group yet, but a lot of other counties are. The intent of our enrollment platform is to have the employee make the election. So that is how it's intended to operate. The HR director would then get a notification of all changes that you have to approve. Open enrollment's different, where you'll go through everyone's open enrollment and we'll check to make sure that it was correct. But that is the way the program's meant to work, and that the employee can take it home, can look at everything on their phone or their computer with their spouse.
Come back.
At some point, I think we should transition to that.
I believe you should too.
I did
That's
that in my
how we
old
always
company.
did.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah, all the employees did that and they had a deadline.
And so there's some responsibility on behalf of the employee. I know Karen's done a great job of, you have to track people down. It's change.
Yeah,
It's changed, but I think we should if it's not this year, at some point we need to move there because
I think, you know. actually-
And we have plenty of time to do
We
that
have two
this
people to
year.
track people down if we need to, or to answer
That's
questions.
the issue, is getting people to do it. I'm sorry.
So here's what we can do. If employees make no changes, we could make it a passive enrollment. So everything would just roll over as is to the new plans,
Unless you notify us.
unless you notify us. And if anyone wants to make a change, enroll in voluntary life, enroll in voluntary critical illness, go out to Employee Navigator, make your election, and everything will be set up for 2025.
Yeah, that'll force them to make a movement, and
And that would be fine as long, have a deadline.
Oh, yeah, you have a deadline and they get emails but we need to have, everyone has to have an email. So I think everyone should have a county email, or most employees. They don't.
Secondary roads has no county email.
So you'd have to get personal emails from the folks that you don't have emails for.
A
We
lot
put
of
it-
them don't want to give that. Because they're afraid they're gonna get a bunch of emails.
So I think,
So secondary roads is still our holdup. They're holdup with anything moving forward, that.
but the way to get around
is
that,
Always the holdup.
other counties are not having issues when they just say, this is the way that we're enrolling in benefits moving forward. It's not up for debate. It's not a negotiable item.
And that's it. If the board wants to do that, that's fine.
And
We're not
I think a
taking
lot
it-
of times if the employee wasn't comfortable with doing the online thing, a lot of times the spouse is. So they could always give the spouse.
Well, it's just a
an
great
email
way to
address.
see your benefits. If the employee doesn't bring everything home, you have it right on the screen.
Yeah.
And they could certainly come in and you could help them through the enrollment. It's
Mhm.
very user friendly. It's not difficult. I think as you take on this new role, it's gonna expand your capacity because it's more seamless.
And
But we
now
can
that's,
kick that out this time. That's what the way they want to go about it.
It may be great if as Ashley's brand new and you're still here to help collaborate.
that'd be a good time to do it. That's what I was thinking, when Karen's still here with Ashley and they could work together on this.
done.
Yeah, I think, great.
I'm good with
Got a motion, Clayton?
Yeah, motion.
Second.
First and second?
So we need to gather email addresses then. We'll have to once we get everybody's email address, send an email to our service team and we'll upload everything into the platform.
Yeah, sounds good.
Well,
It'll be good. Yeah.
it's the way to go.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you're just eliminating paper.
Mm-hmm.
You're eliminating the opportunity for the employee to make a mistake, for you to make a mistake, keying it in, for our enrollment team to make, it's just, there's so many opportunities for error.
And with Ashley, knowing how all that works,
Yeah.
The worst part is just, if the employee does not do it, so you're kind of tracking them down, but you just gotta call them and get it figured out and
Yeah.
explain to them it needs to be completed at this date.
We can also put all of your compliance documents on the platform and make it a required view. So they have to click it, which protects the employer in the event of a Department of Labor
that works too.
audit.
Yeah.
But then it's not a passive enrollment, it's an active enrollment, which means every employee has to go out to the platform and establish a
I think.
username and
yeah.
password.
I
That's,
think-
a lot of our groups like it because they want to cover their butts with all of these compliance documents that they have to give every year.
Yep, I would like that. And that also, because I'm assuming that it shows them currently what they have.
It does.
And then if they just say, oh, okay, yep, I want this, and this again, and we're good.
The platform's already built because it's what we're using behind the scenes. So it's like, it's ready.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds like we're gonna enter the, dare I say it? New century.
Okay, we'll plan on that. Great.
Thank
I
you.
think that's a good improvement. So, all right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Nice meeting
Nice
you.
meeting as
Yeah.
well, Ashley.
Nothing else, I'd ask for a motion. Nothing? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.